actually increased in the country, and they started to trickle back down again. It's had zero impact on any issue related to crime, to violent crime, to homicide. It's completely irrelevant. It's 100% politics. It's nothing to do with public safety whatsoever.
Gun ownership, gun crime, both are significant issues in this country. Gun ownership, to me, is basically the right of the law-abiding citizen to purchase an implement that is not illegal. Now, I'm not talking about handguns here or automatic weapons. I'm talking about long guns, rifles and shotguns. And we already jumped through hoops in order to be licensed. I went through all of that, and I did it on the air, and we have to answer some very personally intrusive questions, such as, have you had a conjugal relation breakup in the last 2 years? And if you have, then of course the person you broke up with has to signify that he or she is in agreement that you should have a firearm, by extension suggesting that you may be an unstable person who wishes to purchase a firearm in order to commit a crime. And we just established that if you wish to purchase a firearm in order to commit a crime, you can do so very quickly and at minimal expense by just going to certain locations that most people could probably figure out for themselves in any city in Canada. So it becomes, John, would you agree that it's a political issue at this juncture? It's not and this is the way I see it, it's not a safety issue, it's a political issue.
It's completely a political issue. It was all about securing the urban vote, the big city vote, where guns, for the most part, are not used for the best of purposes. At the same time, it was a way to demonize and to ostracize rural Canadians who maybe grew up in a firearm culture, hunting, ranching, etc. It was really pitting big city against rural constituents.
Where's this going now, Randy?
Well, I'm kind of hoping on the vote. It's as long as the people realize that the people are speaking out against the chiefs of police, we have nothing to gain by it. We're just telling the truth, and we've never gained anything from it. And if it were a safety issue, I mean, I'm a police officer. I don't want to get my head blown off before I get the chance to retire either. And if it were a safety issue, we wouldn't be talking. But every example that the police chief Blair has given, and as well as some of our own members, it's as far as investigative after the fact, well, that's great. But for safety of the public, it means absolutely nothing.
All right, gentlemen, I appreciate the time. Thank you very much. And I'm going to turn this over to our callers now and see what they have to say, because this is going to be a legislative issue. There'll be a vote in Parliament, and it is going to be front-page news over the next several weeks until a decision is made by our members of Parliament. Randy, thank you very much. And John, it's always good talking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Roy.
Thank you. Enjoy. Bye-bye.
So, 1-800-665-2202 is the number to call. 800-665-2202 on the Charles Adler Show for Roy and for Charles. Are you for, and okay, so you know where I stand. So here's what we're going to do. We will not ask anybody who calls what your position is on the Long Gun Registry, whether you support it or oppose it, because that would be considered to be maybe weighting the survey a little bit. We don't want to do that. You give me a call now at 800-665-2202 on the Adler Show with Roy in for Charles, and you tell all of us whether you are for the Long Gun Registry or whether you're opposed to it, whether you're for it or opposed to it. Chiefs of police are for it. My guests were against it. This is going to be very, very tight in Canada's Parliament. 1-800-665-2202. Are you for the Long Gun Registry or opposed to it? Let's find out. We will when we come back. Email Roy at roygreenshow.com. All right, are you for or against the Long Gun Registry? Now, my producer may have asked you, but I can't see it on my screen. That's the deal. I don't know how callers feel. We're going to find out. Paul in Toronto, go ahead, please.
Hey, how you doing?
All right, sir. How are you doing?
Totally against it since day one, and it's kind of laughable that Chief Blair is even speaking in public after the debacle in the G20, after lying to the public 3 different occasions about his knowledge of the law regarding the surrounding fence. Anyway, he misled us on that one, and he's probably misleading us on this one.
All right, appreciate the call, Paul. Thank you. In Toronto, there was an issue, was there not, about what you protected, the security fence or the property of the people of the city of Toronto? That was a key issue. So, Bill, in Winnipeg, why don't you pick up the discussion, pick up the thread? Are you for the Long Gun Registry or against it? And you know that it's going to be a huge issue in Canada's Parliament. There's going to be tremendous pressure to vote one way or the other. And Michael Ignatieff has already told his caucus, you will vote for the retention of the registry. Where do you stand, Bill?
Absolutely against it. It seems like common sense always takes a back seat to politics. It's ridiculous. My father told me something years ago. He said, locks are for honest people. If something's locked, it means you don't go in. It's the same here. If a guy wants to get a hold of a gun, he'll get a hold of a gun, regardless if they're registered or not.
And that's the issue.
The problem with the gun, it's the people.
That's the issue, Bill. The issue is you get rid of the illegal guns. You make sure that you do that, and I don't buy into the argument, as you don't, as my guests did not, as apparently 2,600 police officers do not. Randy Kuntz's survey is not scientific, but I don't buy into it for a moment that this is a safety issue for police officers or for society. It's an intrusion issue, and when I filled out the form, I gotta tell you, when I filled out the application, and I had to answer whether or not I had a conjugal relationship end in the last 2 years. And I had to be responsible to some bureaucratic process that was delving into my private life. No, I did not. But it just bothered me so much that I had to tell these people, I had to tell government about what's going on in my life, and that takes us back to what we talked about last week, and that is government intrusification. Steve in Winnipeg.
Firmly in favor of it, Roy.
Fire away, Steve. No pun intended.
Pardon me?
I said fire away, no pun intended.
I'm firmly on side with the police chiefs associations across the country, and I do believe it's for the good of society that all guns, regardless of their type, be registered. The police need to know if guns are in a particular household when they're responding to it, and I understand that there's certain residences or neighborhoods in every major city where the cops are going to assume that going in because of the amount of illegal guns on the street. That issue, the illegal guns.
Steve, I have a question for you. Have you talked to police officers about this?
I only know a few police officers.
What have they told you?
The 3 police officers that I've spoken to, one of which is a gun enthusiast, all are in favor of it. Now, and I think it's a red herring that we talk about. We need to get the illegal guns off the street. That's not the issue.
Not a red herring. It's not that has to be the primary focus, Steve.
Well, it should be the primary focus of government, Canada Border Services, and the police.
All right. Steve, I have to take another call, and I appreciate it very much, but I do have to get some more people on the air here. We have limited time. Peter's in Oshawa. Go ahead, Peter.
Good afternoon, Roy.
Yes, sir.
I'm firmly against the registry, and if I can just address a point that the previous caller made, non-restricted long guns, you don't have to keep them at home. So the registry in that fact is useless. I could keep them at my cottage if I really want.
Well, exactly. You can have, if you have an acquisition permit and you buy a shotgun or a rifle, you can put a trigger lock on it and have it sitting in the open on the back seat of your vehicle. As I understand it.
I will be honest with you, Roy. Coming from the UK, I experienced full gun registration, and I can tell you what it's good for. Confiscation. I lost my semi-autos in 86, and I lost my handguns in 96. And if you weren't registered, they wouldn't have been able to come and take everybody's guns away.
All right, Peter, bad phone line in Oshawa. Thank you so much for your call, though. This debate shall continue. It will continue. And it'll continue for the weeks ahead until a decision is made and a vote in Parliament. It may not actually get to the vote if a committee hearing, and there's going to be a committee vote on not even letting the legislation go to third reading, and if that is supportive of the registry and against Candace Hepner's bill, private member's bill, then it won't even get to a parliamentary vote. For Charles, this is Roy.
A playground for inquiring minds. This is Charles Adler with guest host Roy Green.